Silent snow, warm hearts. On a stormy winter night in a remote Colorado town, a traumatized small-town cop rescues a new school teacher fleeing an abusive ex. As a dangerous past follows her into the snow-covered streets of Silver Pine, the two must confront old wounds, protect the people they love, and learn to trust each other before one fateful winter festival turns deadly. Snow hurled itself against the windshield, turning the mountain road into a white tunnel. Emma Brooks, a young schoolteacher who had just left Denver to start over in the tiny town of Silver Pine, gripped the steering wheel and tried not to panic. Her phone call with her worried mother still rang in her ears. Why move to some mountain town after everything with Ryan? Why run away? The engine light blinked, the car shuddered, and the engine died. Emma managed to coast the car to the side of the road. The world outside was nothing but wind and swirling snow. With one bar of signal left, she dialed 911 and prayed. A few miles away, Officer Noah Carter was driving back from his niece Mia's Christmas performance when the dispatcher's voice came through his radio. Car stranded near mile 27. Possible hypothermia risk. You're the closest unit. Noah turned the patrol truck around. The storm and the twisted road pulled at his nerves, reminding him of the flash flood years ago, of the man he hadn't been able to save. He shoved the memory down and focused on the present. He found Emma's car half buried in snow. Stepping out with a heavy winter coat and an old oil lantern, he tapped on her window. "You okay, ma'am?" he asked. She cracked the window, shivering. "My car died. I'm Emma Brooks." "Noah Carter, Silver Pine PD," he said. "Let's get you out of here. This road is going to ice over fast." He led her to the back of his pickup, wrapped her in a thick gray wool blanket, and set the lantern beside her. Steam rose from his breath in the freezing air as he checked her dead car. From the bed of the truck, Emma watched him through the swirling snow, oddly comforted by the small circle of warm light, by this quiet stranger who had appeared in the middle of the storm. For the first time in months, she felt the faintest hint of safety. The fateful night in Silver Pine had begun. Noah first took Emma to the town clinic, where Dr. Lauren Hayes, his ex-fiancée, checked her for frostbite and hypothermia. Lauren teased Noah about bringing home strays in blizzards again, but her eyes softened when she looked at Emma. When the exam was done, Lauren said, "She'll be okay, just cold and exhausted." With the motel already full of travelers trapped by the storm, Noah decided to bring Emma back to the station. Out behind the small building was a covered pickup bed he sometimes used during long shifts. He set down a folding mattress, stacked blankets, and placed the lantern where its warm pool of light softened the night. "Most newcomers feel better if they can still see the sky," he said, a little shy. "Walls can feel like a trap during a storm." Emma lay wrapped in the thick blanket, watching snowflakes streak past the plastic tarp overhead. Noah's radio crackled somewhere inside. They talked softly about her new teaching job, his niece Mia, this little town in the mountains. When a gust of wind rattled the tarp, Noah stepped closer and pulled another blanket over her shoulders. His hands were rough but gentle. "Get some sleep, Emma," he said. Emma closed her eyes. The sound of the blizzard was still wild, but inside that fragile circle of lantern light, she finally drifted off. The next day, the storm cleared, leaving Silver Pine sparkling under the winter sun. Emma moved into a small rental and started her first day as the new third-grade teacher. The children were curious and excited. Mia, with her braids and bright eyes, inspected Emma and decided she liked her. Noah, meanwhile, drove back to the spot where he'd found Emma's car. The road was mostly covered again, but he could still see deep twin grooves where her car had been forced off to the side. It didn't look like a normal skid. Back at town, he visited Eli, a tech-savvy teenager who had quietly set up an experimental community security system using cameras near the mountain gas station. Reviewing grainy footage from the night before, they saw Emma's white sedan pass by, followed at a distance by a dark SUV. Heavy snow then smeared the image, hiding the rest. Noah's stomach tightened. Someone had been following her. He thanked Eli and told him to keep this between them for now. That afternoon, Emma checked her email during lunch and found a message from a random address. "You think you can just leave? Silver Pine won't save you, Emma. I always find you." Her hands trembled. She knew that voice, even without a name. Ryan Cole. She stared at the words, pulse racing. Part of her wanted to run straight to Noah with the email. Another part of her was terrified of dragging him, and this kind town, into the chaos she had barely escaped. In the end, she deleted the message, but couldn't delete the dread coiling in her chest. Later, when Noah spoke to the kids about road safety and saw the tightness in Emma's smile, he knew something was off. But he didn't push. Not yet. A few days later, Emma heard someone call her name in the grocery store. She turned and nearly dropped her basket. Ryan stood there, perfectly put together, dark coat, easy smile, the same charming exterior that had once fooled everyone. "I just wanted to talk," he said softly. "You vanished, Em. After everything—" "I told you I needed space," she replied, knuckles white in the handle. "I moved on." He stepped closer. "I drove all the way up here to make sure you're okay. Is that a crime now?" Emma's heart thudded. "You shouldn't be here. This is my new life." Ryan's eyes cooled for a second before his smile slid back into place. "I'm staying at the Maple Inn for a few days. If you change your mind, you know where to find me." He left a bouquet at the register with her name on it. On the card, the apologetic words twisted into something more possessive, more threatening. She tore it up. That evening, Noah ran into Ryan outside the coffee shop. Ryan stretched out his hand. "Ryan Cole," he said, "Emma's ex. I heard you saved her during the storm. I wanted to say thanks." Noah shook his hand, but felt unease prickling the back of his neck. Ryan's eyes lingered too long. His compliments felt calculated. Later, Lauren mentioned seeing Ryan loitering near Emma's rental. "I have a bad feeling about that guy," she told Noah. "Keep an eye on him, and on Emma." Emma began noticing small things. A dark SUV parked at the corner of her street, aborted calls from unknown numbers, bouquets left on her porch. She tried to bury herself in lesson plans and Mia's singing rehearsals for the winter festival, hoping that ignoring Ryan would make him go away. But shadows only grow longer when you pretend not to see them. One gray afternoon, panic swept through the school. Ben, a skinny, bright-eyed boy in Emma's class, hadn't come home. His mother thought he'd gone to play with a friend. The friend hadn't seen him. Emma remembered how Ben had bragged about a secret fort by the frozen river, the perfect place to build a snow soldier base. Her blood ran cold. Within an hour, search parties fanned out through the woods. Snow fell again, thinner than the blizzard, but enough to hide tracks. Noah commanded the operation, radio clipped to his jacket, voice calm but urgent. "You don't need to come," he told Emma when she insisted on joining. "It's dangerous out there." "He's my student," she said. "If there's anywhere he'd go, I'm the one who knows." He relented on one condition. she'd stay within his line of sight. They trudged through the forest, dark tree trunks rising like columns through the snow. The radio crackled with negative reports. No sign of Ben near the south road. Nothing at the ice rink. Then a black shape darted through the trees, barking sharply. Shadow, the stray dog Mia had been secretly feeding for months. He ran ahead, pausing, barking for them to follow. Shadow led them to the river, its surface mostly frozen solid. In the middle, near a patch of thinner blue ice, Ben clung to a jagged chunk, one leg already in the black water beneath. His teeth were chattering violently. "Miss Emma," he cried. "I slipped." Noah barked orders. "Everyone back. Nobody steps on the ice but me. Get the rescue rope." They tied the rope around his waist. As Noah set foot on the ice, the brittle surface groaned. Flashbacks of the roaring flood and the man's face underwater hit him like a punch. He almost stopped. "You're going to fail." Again, the memory whispered. Then he looked at Ben, at Emma's terrified expression, at Mia's wide eyes. He inhaled deeply and stepped forward. "Look at me, Ben," Noah said, crawling closer. "Don't look at the water. Look right here. We're going to walk out of this together." He reached the boy, wrapped his arms around him as the ice began to crack in an ominous line. The men on the shore pulled, the rope tightened, and for a heartbeat, Noah felt as if the world were tilting. Then they were sliding across the ice, up onto the bank. The forest exploded into cheers. Emma fell to her knees, hugging Ben. Mia wrapped herself around Shadow's neck, sobbing into his fur. Noah sat in the snow, chest heaving, the roar of the imaginary flood finally receding. Across the river, half hidden among the trees, Ryan watched. He saw the way Emma looked at Noah, saw the relief and something deeper in her eyes. His jaw clenched. "If that's how you want it," he muttered. Noah's rescue of Ben made him a local hero. The town paper ran a front-page story. Online, people shared the photo of him carrying the shivering boy through falling snow. For Noah, the real victory was quieter. The realization that he could act under pressure without being dragged under by his guilt. He'd face the river again, and this time he'd won. Emma, moved by the incident and tired of living in fear, finally sat down with Lauren and Noah and told them the whole truth about Ryan. The controlling remarks, the smashed plates, the apologies, the promises, the threats. She showed them older messages she hadn't deleted, some of them chillingly similar to the email she had erased. With Lauren's help, Emma applied for a restraining order. In the small conference room at the station, Noah listened to her statement, fists clenched under the table. When she finished, he said quietly, "You're not alone here. In Silver Pine, we take care of our own." A temporary protection order was granted, forcing Ryan to leave town and stay away from Emma until the hearing. For a while, it worked. Things calmed down. Then, one night, as Emma graded homework at her kitchen table, the back door creaked. The light flickered. She grabbed her phone and an old baseball bat. "Who's there?" she called. A shape lunged from the shadows, wrenching the bat from her hand and pinning her to the wall. "You really think a piece of paper can keep me away?" Ryan hissed. "You're breaking the law," she gasped. "You'll go to jail. Come with me now, and we'll leave this dead little town behind," he said, fingers digging into her wrists. "Or do you prefer the small-time hero cop now?" A deep growl cut through the tension. Shadow charged in, teeth sinking into Ryan's pant leg. Shocked, he loosened his grip. Emma tore free and sprinted for the front door, dialing Noah as she ran. Ryan grabbed her again on the porch, yanking her back just as headlights and sirens flooded. The street. Noah and another officer spilled out of the patrol car, guns drawn. "Let her go, Ryan," Noah shouted. Ryan froze for a second, then threw up his hands. "I'm not hurting her. We were just talking." Emma, shaken, said clearly, "He broke into my house. I want to press charges." Ryan was arrested for trespassing and violating the order. But with a quick-moving lawyer and no physical injuries, he was released while waiting for the formal hearing. It was infuriating, but it changed something in Emma. Instead of shrinking back, she looked Noah in the eye. "I don't want to keep running," she said. "Whatever comes next, I'm staying." Noah nodded. "Then I'm staying right beside you." The winter festival arrived on a crisp January night. Silver Pine glowed with strings of lights, food stalls, and paper lanterns. The whole town turned out. Mia fidgeted backstage, clutching her microphone. Emma straightened her scarf. "You'll be great," Emma whispered. "Just sing like it's our classroom." Nearby, Lauren manned the donation booth for the clinic. Eli roamed the crowd with a camera, streaming the festivities to his Silver Pine Live channel. Noah circulated in uniform, keeping an eye on everything, and especially on Emma. None of them saw Ryan slip into town earlier that day, tucked into the flow of visiting tourists. He moved along the dark edges of the festival, anger and obsession boiling together. In the half-lit area behind the stage, Emma checked the power strips for the decorative lights and noticed a section had gone out. She bent to inspect it. A hand clamped over her mouth, dragging her into the shadows between two trucks. "Don't scream," Ryan growled. She struggled, heart hammering. "You're violating the order again," she managed. "Nobody cares about your little town's rules," he said. "You're leaving with me tonight. I'm not going to let some small-time cop steal you." Behind him, on a prop table, sat an old oil lantern, the exact same type as Noah's. An idea flashed through Emma's mind. She forced herself to go limp. "Fine," she said through clenched teeth. "Just talk." Ron loosened his grip, surprised. It was enough. Emma stomped his foot, twisted away, and lunged for the lantern. She lit it with shaken hands and held it high, swinging it wildly toward the crowd, the flame a bright, frantic signal in the dark strip behind the stage. Out in the square, Noah caught sight of the strange, swaying circle of light. He knew that lantern. He knew Emma's silhouette. His gut clenched. He ran. Racing behind the stage, he found Emma struggling with Ryan, who was trying to grab the lantern and something metallic glinting near his hand. A knife. Noah drew his gun. "Ryan," he shouted, "drop the knife and step away from her." The festival noise dimmed to a low hum as Emma froze, Ryan's eyes wild. For a heartbeat, Noah thought he might lunge. Instead, Ryan's shoulders sagged. He let the knife fall into the snow, raised his hands, and snarled, "You really gonna shoot a man in front of all these kids, hero?" Officers swarmed in. Ryan was cuffed and led through the startled crowd. Emma clutched the lantern, knees weak. "You did great," Noah said, eyes never leaving her. "If you hadn't sent that signal—" "I remembered how you found me in the storm," she said, voice wavering. "I figured one more lantern couldn't hurt." The festival slowly settled. To calm everyone's nerves, the organizers moved ahead with Mia's performance. She stepped on stage, looking for Emma and Noah in the crowd. They stood together near the front, both giving her a thumbs up. Under the soft snow, Mia sang "Silent Night" in a clear, trembling voice. One by one, people joined in, holding up lanterns and candles until the town square was a sea of warm light. By the time the song ended, the fear had faded, replaced by a strong, shared sense of community. Donations for the clinic poured in, and Eli's live stream of the festival later brought in an anonymous sponsor. For Emma, that night marked a turning point. The lantern was no longer just a symbol of rescue. It had become a sign that she wasn't alone anymore. Winter loosened its grip. Snow melted from rooftops and slid off the branches of the dark pines. Ryan was finally sentenced and transferred to a distant prison, far away from the mountain town he had tried to invade. Emma signed a full-time contract with the elementary school and used her savings to buy a small cabin on the hillside. It needed work, but with a steady job, support from the town, and a stubborn new courage in her chest, she couldn't imagine being anywhere else. Noah helped fix the roof, repair the old wood stove, and put up a fence. Mia and Shadow were constant visitors. The clinic expanded into a small health center with the new donations, and Lauren started seeing a traveling photographer named Mark, who'd fallen in love with Silver Pine's winter light. Emma launched a community library at school, turning an unused classroom into a book-filled nook. Mia became the junior librarian, Eli the unofficial IT manager, and Shadow the sleepy guardian in the doorway. One evening, Noah came over carrying the same oil lantern he'd used in the blizzard. "I think this belongs here now," he said, hanging it on a hook by her front porch. A reminder that sometimes the worst nights bring us where we're meant to be. Emma looked at the lantern, then at him. "I used to be terrified of the dark," she said. "Not the night itself, but that feeling of being trapped with someone who controlled everything. I thought I'd never trust anyone again." "And now?" Noah asked quietly. "Now I'm learning how," she answered. Step by step. He took a breath. "After the flood, I decided I didn't deserve a normal life. I buried myself in work and guilt. Saving Ben, meeting you, it made me realize I've been punishing myself long enough." Emma stepped closer until their shoulders touched. "I don't know exactly what the future looks like," she said, "but if you're willing, I'd like to walk into it together." "I am," Noah said without hesitation. They kissed under the lantern's gentle glow as the sky turned softly pink over the treetops. It wasn't a dramatic movie kiss, just warm, certain and real, like the snow finally melting after a long winter. A few weeks later, on a mild spring morning, Emma, Noah, Mia, and Shadow sat on the back of Noah's pickup truck, drinking hot cocoa and watching Silver Pine wake up. Smoke curled from chimneys, bells rang at the little church, and the sun painted gold edges on the tall pines. "If the blizzard never happened," Mia said thoughtfully, "you two might never have met." "Oh, we would have met," Noah said, smiling. "Maybe a little later, maybe in a less dramatic way." Emma nudged him with her elbow. "Are you saying I'm dramatic?" "I'm saying you're destiny," he replied. Mia groaned. "That's so cheesy," she muttered, but she leaned against Emma's arm, smiling. Shadow barked once, as if in agreement. The lantern on the porch swayed gently in the breeze, no longer a distress signal, but a symbol of a new beginning. Silver Pine was still a tiny dot on the Colorado map, just another mountain town tucked among the trees. But for Emma and Noah, and for everyone whose lives had crossed on that fateful winter night, it was home. And their story, between silent snow and warm hearts, was only just beginning. At the end of Silent Snow, Warm Hearts. The message is simple. Even on the coldest nights, God can still send a small light and a kind person to help us find our way home. In real life, we all walk through our own winters. Sometimes it is a broken relationship. Sometimes it is guilt from the past. Sometimes it is just feeling alone in a noisy world. Like Emma, we need courage to step out of fear. Like Noah, we are called to stand up and protect others. And, like the town of Silver Pine, we can become a warm community for the people God puts around us. If this story touched your heart, please share it with someone who might need hope today. Leave a comment, tell me what part spoke to you most, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel so you do not miss the next story. I pray that God will bless and protect everyone who watches this video. May He bring light into your darkest nights and surround you with people who truly care. If you believe that God can turn any winter into a new beginning, write Amen in the comments as a small prayer of faith and agreement.